He starts talking about buying and selling. He starts talking about the market and the economy. And he says that buyers and sellers are going to act in their own best interest. That is correct. People will know what their best interests are, and they will purchase things at their own best interest. Okay. And he goes over saying that it creates natural competition from businesses. That is correct. The market will determine, okay, the people need this because they're requesting this or they're purchasing this, so this is what we need to provide. It does create competition. That's correct. I highly recommend, if anybody has questions about that, take a look at look up Milton Friedman. Has some really great answers on economics. He's one of the most brilliant minds on economics I have ever heard. But here is where it gets confusing, because Tom Mullen goes down through here to say, he says, citing the fact that capitalism has historically produced better results than other economic systems. Okay, what is a better result? What does he mean by better? I don't understand that one. He's going to have to define that before I understand what he's talking about. I am in agreement, since the atheists get on to me all the time, and I'll get to that in a minute of how they do this. But I am in agreement with Milton Friedman to say that wherever you have a society based on liberty, wherever the people have the free will, and a free type society, capitalism is present. Capitalism. Freedom is not required, or liberty is not required for capitalism. I've ever used the biblical term liberty. Liberty is not required for capitalism, but capitalism is certainly a requirement for liberty. It's one of the necessary conditions. Okay, but Tom Mullen here says that historically it has produced better results. Define what you mean by that, Tom. I don't know, and neither does anyone else know what you mean by that. He says this is undeniably true. Well, you didn't provide any references. You didn't provide anything for that. He says it is more important to recognize the moral argument. Now here's where we get again into one of the things that I've talked about at the beginning when I listed the words that he's using that aren't defined. He says the moral argument. What does he mean by moral? Well, even if you want to look up the dictionary definition of moral, which he may argue to do that, let's go to the dictionary definition of moral. Moral. Of pertaining to or concerned with the principles or rules of right conduct, or the distinction between right and wrong. Well, again, I listed off, he didn't define right and wrong either. In fact, he completely dodged the question, and I'll show you that in a minute too once we get to his private message. He dodged the question of why is he right and the New World Order wrong? He never would answer it. And I'll show you how he dodged past it. I've had to deal with people doing this before, and you'll see the difference for yourself. But let's go back here. He said, he also says capitalism is the only morally justifiable system. Well, now he's using justice, like it's just and it's moral, and he never defines these. Well, what's just? Even if you go look up the definition of just, it says guided by truth, reason, justice, fairness. He doesn't define reason either. He doesn't even define what truth is. What does he mean by that? Is it his truth or someone else's truth? Where does truth come from? I will tell you right now, it comes from God, because God is the truth. And I know that reason comes from God, and fairness and truth, justice, right, wrong, all these things come from a creator. They do not come from some arbitrary man's opinion, that's for certain, because that's an endlessly circular argument if they want to use, well, this is what I think, or it just feels this way, like you'll see some people respond to. And he said right here in the definition it says it's based on right or rightful. Well, what's right? Tom Mullen never defines it. So how can you possibly understand what he's saying here when he doesn't define what he's talking about? Of course, there he brings up the non-aggression principle again, which we remember he said was Ayn Rand's philosophy on objectivism, which is I sense my senses are valid. We covered that in episode 2. He brings that one up in almost every chapter. You'd be surprised. This is his religious worldview philosophy. Tom Mullen, you can determine from his writing that he supports evolution, atheism, and humanism. Now, why do I say evolution and atheism? Because those are the basis for humanism. This is a humanist book. And humanism and atheism and evolution are the philosophy the New World Order is using for their kingdom they're trying to set up, their one world government. So, He goes down here and he says, for more on the economic system, he recommends The Capitalist Manifesto by Dr. Bernstein. Now here's what he says about it. Dr. Bernstein makes not only the utilitarian argument. Now, utilitarian, for anybody who doesn't know, it means that you're basing people's value on how, what can they do, what can they provide, what purpose do they have in the, how much work can they produce, that kind of thing. It's setting values on people, more or less. He says, but also the moral argument for capitalism. Well, let me tell you, Tom Mullen does this, and I'm going to, because further later on in the book, he talks about our nation can again begin an engine of prosperity. That is his moral argument for capitalism. What he's doing, what Tom Mullen is doing, so this can be simplistically thing, is probably, I would bet, the same thing that Dr. Bernstein does. I have never read one thing from Dr. Bernstein ever. And I can already guess exactly what Dr. Bernstein has done, and I guarantee you Dr. Bernstein's book is probably useless. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to correct myself, but I guarantee you, I've never even read it, and I can probably already predict what he did. He started out with the exact same thing Tom Mullen started out, and many other atheists I've talked to. They assume prosperity is good. Prosperity is right. And I have asked them, let me tell you what the atheists do. When I say this, what I'll do is I'll ask them a question, and I'm looking for their thoughts on it. I'm just asking the question, looking for the atheist's thoughts. Why is it right for people to prosper? And here's the response I get. I've had this numerous times, even in person as well as online. Here's what they say. Well, what are you saying? It's not right. You don't think people should prosper? They always do that. What's that question designed to do? It's designed to basically attack my character, to say, look, he doesn't think you people should prosper, so he's a bad person. It's designed as an ad hominem. It's more of a red herring kind of thing, too, where it shifts away from the topic at hand. I did not say it was wrong for people to prosper. In fact, I don't think it is. I know it is right for people to prosper, and I can tell you why. And most people can probably figure out at this point exactly why. They just, the atheists just don't want to hear me say it. But before I even get into that, they skip the question. I have never had an atheist respond to that. They have not even acknowledged the question to address it. Just asking, why is it right for people to prosper? Tom Mullen assumes it. And I guarantee you, this Dr. Bernstein probably does the same thing. Now, maybe unknowingly. Now, Tom Mullen, I can't say unknowingly anymore. He's not ignorant. He's lying. Definitely. By his response, he definitely has shown me he's lying about this on purpose. He's not ignorant. Folks, I want you to take a good look. This is a book that is preaching the corruptions of liberty. This is the kind of thing that's going to destroy this nation, or assist to destroy it. The New World Order is doing a lot to destroy this nation. People like Obama are doing a lot to destroy this nation. This is another book that will help the process, except this one is going to help it on what they claim is the other side. They think that they are two sides in the battle, but they really don't understand, because until Tom Mullen and other authors will define these terms I've talked about, they're all going to be on the same side with the New World Order. And they don't even see it. So, but he's trying to say that capitalism is moral. Folks, let me explain this really slowly. What they're saying is morality, their version of morality. And I don't know if Dr. Bernstein does this, but certainly Tom Mullen does this. Their version of reality, or morality, is money, the flow of the market. That's where their morality lies. Folks, in 1 Timothy 6:10, it says what the root of all evil is: the love of money. It does not say money is evil. Money does not have a conscience. That's like if I took this marker and I said, this is an evil marker. It's going to write all over your faces, this is a bad marker, an evil marker. No, it's a tool. And what people do with it, that is where the morals come from, okay? It is the love. It is people's love of money, and their concern with money, and everything focuses around money. That is the root of all evil.